You might be scared that we lost so much time installing software and learning about coordinates, and we still haven't written even a single line of code. Well, now is the time. I'm going to explain to you what piece of the code that we downloaded from zle.c/code.zip do. So it's this line of code here in the draw function. You can see that there are few places in our code that there are curly brackets like those, and each of them have a specific purpose. There is a place where we can write code that is going to be executed many times per second. There is a place that we can write code which can be executed when a key from the keyboard is released. There is a place where we can write code which will be executed when the left mouse button is released. And all the code that we want to write to draw stuff on the screen, we are going to write it in the draw function in those brackets. So there is this line of code already there, and it says context point furect my x my y 3030, and I'm going to write one more line similar to this one. Again, I'm going to write 3 commas. So I have places to write 4 numbers, and I'm going to just experiment for now because you are not sure what those numbers mean, and I'm going to try to learn this with you. So what if I write 1, 2, 3, 4 here? I'm going to go to my folder and click on start.html to see what's going on there. And there is absolutely no change, and that's expected if you've made some changes to your code but you haven't saved them. I'm going to go back to brackets, and here I can press File, Save. It also shows that if I press Ctrl and S, it's going to save it too. So I can press both of those options, and you can see that there was a dot saying you have unsaved changes. Now it's gone. If I made new change, again there is a dot, and I can save again. If you've made changes that you want to see running, you should save your code and then go to the browser, where you can see that absolutely nothing new is going on. And I'm going to be a little desperate if this continues. Is everything horribly not working? Well, not really. My changes are saved, and if I close my browser and open it again, I'm going to see them executed and running. And perhaps you would say, where are the changes? And actually there is this tiny square in the upper left corner. We don't have to close the browser, to close Google Chrome each time we made a change. I can change one of the numbers of context furect. For example, I can make this number not 1 but 10, and save and refresh only. I don't need to close the browser, just refresh the web page. And now I can see that the tiny blue square has moved in the right direction. I will change this number even more, and let's see what change is happening now. Where has it gone? Are you scared? Did we kill the blue square? Well, what we did to it is that we send it much right. You can see that our game field is not endless. It's not even as big as the web page. My game field, you can actually call it canvas, has 800 pixels to the right and 600 pixels in the down direction. So perhaps if I'm really careful to guess what this number means, I could understand that tiny blue rectangle has gone around here outside of my canvas, and if the big blue square chasing the mouse try to go there, it becomes invisible too. So I guess I will have to write smaller numbers here. For example, if I write 800, again I don't see anything. This is a little bit strange because as I just said, 800 is the X size of the canvas, and apparently if something is drawn at X equals 800, it's already outside the canvas. So what if I choose just a little bit smaller number? Here it is, it's alive again, it's just on the right end of the canvas. Perhaps you can now guess what this number means. It's the X or the rightness of the rectangle that we are drawing. So we can now experiment with the other numbers here. Let's make this one 790. And it's gone. It's gone again. Perhaps we should not experiment with such big numbers for now. At least we should understand what those numbers mean. So let's write perhaps 90. Well, here it is. Hi there, fella. But why exactly here? Well, if you are starting to understand how tiny a pixel is, and you understand that 790 pixels could fit in here, perhaps you can guess that approximately 90 pixels fit from the blue rectangle to the top of the canvas. And it's not about 90, it's exactly 90 pixels. So we perhaps have a good idea what those two numbers mean: the rightness and the downness of the rectangle that is going to be drawn with this fill rect. Okay, what are the next two numbers? I will change this one and hope that my rectangle that doesn't go outside of the playing field. It grew in size. Interesting. Let's make this number even bigger. It doesn't change a bit. I saved my code and I refreshed the web page. I can press here or press F5 on my keyboard, but nothing changes. What's going on? Let's try with even bigger number. Again, the rectangle is just the same. Perhaps something fishy is going on right now. I can try to change it in the other direction. Let's make this number small, like 6. Well, I can see that it got a little bit smaller. Let's try with 5. A little bit smaller again. 9. Little bit bigger. 10. It looks like after 10 it stops growing. This is a little bit strange. What could this number means if it's not exactly size? Actually, what this numbers means is exactly the size in the right direction of the rectangle. And if I enter sizes bigger than 10, the end of this rectangle is going to be outside of the canvas, and that's what is going on now. We can see that the size matters if we move the rectangle much to the left, and now I can play with its size without a problem. A little bit bigger rectangle, much bigger rectangle, absurdly bigger rectangle, and again it's going outside of the canvas because 190 plus 1500 is much more than 800. Well, we already realized what those 3 numbers mean, and there is another number that is 4 for all of the time, and perhaps you have no idea why this is 4 and what does it mean, and you can experiment with it, and perhaps you will know what this means. But I think that you can understand the role of this number without changing it. I think that you can just guess what could be 4 in our rectangle. Is there something that looks like 4 pixels, or perhaps is placed at 4 pixels? And you can also think of, we already entered 3 numbers with specific rows. There is a 4th number, and what row did we left for this number? We have a number that says how much to the right should our rectangle start, how much from the top in the down direction should our rectangle start, how far to the right should our rectangle continue, what is going to be its size in the right direction, and perhaps there is only one row that is needed so that we can make any rectangle that we want. If we want to make a higher rectangle, we should enter a different number here. This is the goal of this number, to say what size should be the drawn rectangle. The size in the down direction, meaning like the height of the rectangle. So I can change it again and experiment with different values, and I can get a really big rectangle. I can go even outside of the canvas, and this is going to be a little bit stupid. So having in mind that our rectangle is 800 pixels to the right and 600 pixels in the down direction, can you make not only one rectangle, and not with such huge size, but few smaller rectangles so that we can draw something with them. For example, I would try to make a picture with sizes like 800 to 600, but it's not really so important what size is my picture, because I don't want you to make exactly the picture like mine. I want you to make long rectangle for the hands. One fat rectangle for the body. One square, meaning a rectangle with equal sizes for the head. And two long rectangles for one of the legs and for the other leg. Perhaps you have seen that while I was moving in Paint, there were different numbers here that can make easy for you to choose not exactly mine coordinates, but your coordinates. Perhaps your guy is not going to be so fat, you can make thinner dude, or you can make him taller, or perhaps with his head attached to his body, because mine is a little bit decapitated. So make your human with few rectangles. Try to make your first steps, and if you mess something, don't be scared. In the next video I will make a few mistakes myself and teach you how to fix your mistakes and how to choose good coordinates for the rectangles needed. First, try it yourself. Good luck!